Doing business in Africa. You can't afford to be without Africa Investor.
We have the great honor of having with us Madame Damilola Ogunbiyi, the CEO and Special Representative of the Secretary General for Sustainable Energy for All and co-chair of UN Energy. Thank you, Damilola, for joining us today and for opening this very special session.
So, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, I'm glad to be participating in this event. Special thanks to the African Union Development Agency, to the Continental Business Network, Africa Investor Group, the NDC Partnership, and the Africa Green Infrastructure Investment Bank for hosting this event and also inviting me here to speak. I want to congratulate the awardees for the excellent showcase of innovative projects and strategies that will go a long way in enabling a just and equitable energy transition by mobilizing much needed capital that would accelerate implementation. For a few days now since I've been here, because I've been having meetings since Saturday, I've been telling people that the African energy transition is different. The African energy transition is about development and opportunity, and that's very, very important to understand. African, especially African youth, are starting from such a low base to having energy that the fact that we can thrive and we can be here today is really, truly remarkable. So when you talk about the African energy transition, development, climate, and energy have to go hand in hand. And you can't choose one or the other because we have to thrive as a continent as well. First, it also highlights, especially with this type of collaboration, the importance of real collaboration between institutional investors as universal owners, investee companies as customers, and multilateral development banks, regional banks, and development finance institutions as private capital credit enhancers. That is where we have to move on to, and we have to make sure the innovation is there. This type of event really plays that transformational role that we really need in mobilizing capital. It's all well and good, we've been talking so long about the 100 billion, but how do African countries, how are they able to mobilize the well-needed capital they need for energy development, for NDCs, and actually moving forward? Note, I have been picking on energy because I am the sustainable energy for all, but I really believe that energy is at the heart of everything we do. You cannot live a dignified life as a human being without access to sufficient energy. The timely, the way this event has been put together and this timely effort as African countries are embarking on their own energy transition agendas, these efforts actually merge, and we really need to mobilize the private sector investment that we need. And we need the private sector to tell African countries what they want. I know you have different forums where you say policy, regulation, perfect, but that scenario doesn't happen. Everywhere around the world, including Africa, projects drive policy, especially to scale. And I wanted to give my personal example. 15 years ago in Nigeria, I was told solar energy doesn't work. Sorry, it just doesn't work. And I found someone who believed in me and allowed me to power 200 schools and hospitals in my country. And now we're easily doing in Nigeria about 120,000 connections to clean energy every single month. So it's just to show you that if we hadn't done that, what seemed like a small pilot of 200 projects, we would never have got the mini grid regulation, the solar regulation. And again, it's not that the regulations are perfect, but at least they have to be tested. So we really have to look at this when we're talking about scalability, because it's only scalability that can bring profits and can bring real private sector interest. So again, thank you so much. It's important that we really, really do work together to strive for a just and equitable energy transition. Thank you.
Doing business in Africa. You can't afford to be without Africa Investor.